Many of them rushed to the roof, driven there by rising smoke. Just 30 minutes ago, we got our first look at the extent of the destruction caused by the explosion. As you can see, the force of the explosion was devastating, destroying everything nearby, leaving rubble where there had been walls.
The lights came back on gradually through the night, as if the giant towers were waking slowly from their worst nightmare. For those stuck way upstairs, sorting it out was secondary to getting out.
As the years pass, more and more footage of the September 11th attacks has made its way onto the internet. While every video plays a key role in telling the story of what unfolded that Tuesday morning, the clips all feel like one huge montage of terror and suffering. The people on the street, where it was still safe from a distance, looked on in disbelief. The people right at Ground Zero, shocked to find the chaos above, as debris, fire, and concrete came crashing toward them. Those still inside, trying their best to see through the darkness, fighting for air, and trying to make sense of what caused all this destruction. Some would make it out alive, but others couldn't be saved. The footage taken that day tells the story of the day the world changed. We witnessed the final moments of thousands, but sometimes it feels like this only hit a lot of us when we got older. Being downtown just a few minutes from the disaster myself on that very morning, it was hard to accept that so many lives had perished that way, and we all watched it happen right before our eyes. Many stories have been told, from those who made it out, to first responders, to the loved ones who lost someone that day, and from the many who looked on from rooftops and the streets. But the ones who never made it out alive, they had their own stories, a point of view from inside Ground Zero they'd never get a chance to share, with only parts of their horrifying stories captured on video. We're here to take a close at one of those stories in particular, captured on footage that shows the last moments of an individual and what must have felt to them like the end of the world. On today's episode of Evil Intentions, this is The Waving Woman, the story of Edna Cintrón. Edna Cintrón was born on October 14th of 1954 in Puerto Rico. Edna was just 46 years old and a resident of East Elmhurst, Queens, where she resided with her husband William for about 9 years. According to reports, Edna came to New York City when she was about 5 years old, making the shift to the Big Apple with her mother around 1960, coming from Puerto Rico during the Great Migration, which we've discussed here before. Edna and her mother weren't alone in the big city. Edna had family who lived in the Lower East Side, on Delancey Street. After adjusting to life in the big city, Edna started to attend school. When Edna was young, her and her mother didn't have much money, but they always made things work. Edna's mother worked as a clerical worker for the Board of Education in New York City. During her time there, she'd always remember to bring 2 boiled eggs with her for lunch so she didn't have to waste money on food since things were tight. She would give Edna a small allowance per week for school. She always made sure to take care of Edna and her siblings. Later on in her young adult life, Edna would make her way through the 11th grade, but she didn't graduate high school. Regardless of this, she was still driven, and it came natural to her because she was so focused. Edna was described by her loved ones as a sweet and caring woman, someone full of love with an unforgettable smile. Throughout Edna's life, there were some rough patches. She didn't speak much about her childhood because she'd been through a lot in her life. But when she met her husband William, they had a strong connection and found that they could help one another through the hard times. The couple met in 1987 when William went to visit his brother at his brother's girlfriend's house in Upper Manhattan. He saw Edna sitting at the table talking with a friend, and he was immediately taken by her beauty. She was a stunning woman, and William found himself asking his brother about her, wanting to meet her. Within a few minutes, William was sitting down with her to talk. Upon his first time ever meeting Edna, he knew she was beautiful and intelligent, and he knew he wanted to be with her. At the time, William lived in Brooklyn while Edna lived uptown in Manhattan, but he had no problems taking the journey to go spend quality time with her. He would often pick her up and bring her to her job in Midtown, where she worked early on. It would be only 2 months before William and Edna were officially a couple and moving into a Brooklyn apartment together. And just 2 years after that, the couple would get married, entirely committed to one another. By the year 2001, Edna and William were already married for 12 years. The couple had grown used to their life together, a life they worked extremely hard for. In the past, William had struggles with alcoholism, but Edna was there for him every step of the way, making sure he didn't miss any meetings and always encouraging him, making sure William was doing exactly what he should be. And if he wasn't, Edna would put her foot down and made sure that he fixed it. She cared and always showed how much she loved her family. But she was no pushover. She had a strong and very loving personality. By January of 2001, William had celebrated 12 years of no drinking, and the couple couldn't be more proud. They were also proud of the fact that they started from the bottom and worked their way up to success, creating a life together and even opening a business together. The couple ran a flower shop in El Barrio by the name of Sweet Williams Flowers. Residents in the neighborhood recalled stopping in at the location often. Edna could be found there setting up carnations and always delivering a pleasant smile to anyone who entered. If for some reason someone saw flowers they liked but had no money to buy them, Edna didn't mind giving the flowers away. The store was more than income for William and Edna. It was their passion. Friends recalled sharing birthday celebrations with Edna and how her husband William was always thoughtful and would make the ladies a beautiful bouquet for their big days. Edna had her heart in whatever she did. She was also described by loved ones as loving, kind, and with a heart of gold, known for her curly hair and green eyes. She had a big sense of humor, and she had somewhat of a fascination with angels and loved having images of them surround her, whether it was in pictures, paintings, or porcelain figurines. She was always a down-to-earth woman, someone who loved dressing her best if the occasion called for it. She would don fancy threads and apply her red lipstick to match. She would also wear one of her favorite perfumes, White Diamonds. Anyone who knew Edna had nothing but kind things to say about her. The connection between William and Edna was very strong. Having been raised in similar households, both from Puerto Rican backgrounds, they had a bond. Through the thick and thin, William and Edna were always there for one another. They often enjoyed taking trips and getting out of New York City, enjoying the peaceful settings of Bear Mountain upstate. While there, they'd have barbecues with friends and family, enjoying each other's company. Nothing meant more to Edna and William than family. If it wasn't upstate, the couple enjoyed trips to Mexico, Jamaica, and Bermuda. If they kept it local, Edna loved going to Atlantic City to enjoy time at the casino. They'd play a little, eat at the buffets. They always made the best of their time away. They had a routine that they had grown into together. In the year 2000, Edna started working at Marsh & McLennan, an international risk management firm with offices at the World